Don't let your inexperience hold you back. If we really think about gravel in its like purest form, there's really no perfect equipment. There's really no perfect strategy. There's really no perfect rider type. There's really no perfect like nutritional It's just so much unknown, so much chaos that it really just comes down to the most complete rider and with the most complete strategy. And so that's really going to be our objective here, is really to put together a complete performance as a team. First, let's just like look at the course profile. Everyone knows it's 100 miles. So 100 miles is not that bad. Like my directors in Europe would say, oh, look at this, this graph is 20 miles downhill, 20 miles downhill, 30 miles downhill. Most of it's downhill, guys. So there's really not that much bike riding actually out here. So, but there's actually a lot of climbing. So that's exciting because everyone here can climb. So as you guys can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 climbs tomorrow, all in the first 70 miles. So basically, in my mind, the race is over in 70 miles. So we have this amount of time to figure out the race. I think after this point, and from after I've talked to people, the race is over. So if there's groups, most likely they're going to be groups going to the finish line. You're going to be tired. It's high altitude, and it's not real selective. There's some little rollers, but for the most part, it's all downhill, high speed, back to the finish. So key point to first pay attention, the start, okay? You start straight uphill, and from the riders that did it last year, they said that it blew all apart on the first climb. And so this first climb here, all hands on deck. As we know with gravel racing, most of it's over in the first few minutes because everyone goes like crazy and it blows all apart. And so you guys are gonna have to be all hands on deck from the start. So it basically goes out. I know this is a small thing here, but it goes out. You go over here, you do this little loop, come back in, back around, and so this must be the big climb up here, and then you descend down and then back down to the finish. So actually, so it climbs up to here and then it descends down. Okay, so race strategy. These first climbs here, you guys have to try stuff on every single climb. If we wait to this climb here, it might be too easy of a race. And so I think from the gun, you guys attack. And the way I see it, I think you guys can roll out and see if anyone else does anything. But I think from the way I see it is from the gun, once you guys get going and it gets kind of hard, Jim, Angus throw attacks. And ideally, Angus throws an attack, the rodeo guys or whoever brings it back or covers it, then Jim goes over the top, does another attack, and vice versa, until either one of you guys are off the front or Corey counterattacks and he goes off the front. The key players in the race are the rodeo lab guys. So Greg Daniel, he was in the last race. He's kind of a smaller rodeo labs guy. He looks a little bit different because we were used to seeing him with his Trek stuff all the time. But he's a really high level rider. Most likely their strategy, if they're smart, their strategy is going to be to follow you guys. So they'll probably go man-to-man defense, and that's fine. But the idea is every time you guys attack, that tees it up to put pressure on, and ultimately the counterattack with Corey going up the road. If one of you guys go and none of them follow you, Corey doesn't pull, Jim doesn't pull, you guys let them do the whole thing. And you guys sit back there and wait until you see them start to choke. And when they start, and it's obvious when people start falling apart, then you can counter and try to get back up to you or whoever's off the front.
If, just for argument's sake, let's say it was me and I attacked and no one followed me and you two are in the bunch waiting behind, should I just like empty the tank almost?
No, good. Yeah, get out 1 or 2 minutes, get a gap, and then low threshold, high medium.
So ride it as if I were riding a break to try and win the whole bike race.
That's what you're doing tomorrow. So use your zones, high medium, low threshold, surf it, All you need is a gap. And if you're just holding that gap, then that's perfect because that's putting pressure on those guys. But don't go out there, and the last thing we want is a deflated life preserver. So if Angus is out there, but Angus is emptying the tank, and Angus is like, I got 2 more minutes left here, and Corey, is back there, and Jim's back there, and they're saying, oh, we're good. And then all of a sudden Greg goes across to you, and those guys don't follow, then we're in trouble. So, but that won't happen. But be ready the best you can, eat and drink, and do your best. We've got aero bars on the front of the bike tomorrow. None of us have really spent any time training in these things, but in general, aero bars on a road bike or a gravel bike is a cluster anyway. So nobody's going to be good at it. So just get out there. I've been beat to crap by someone that had them. I was an aero bar hater for years until I actually got smoked by someone, and I'm a believer now. So they do work. They will help you. So it's fine if they feel horrible and they look silly and they're annoying. They're gonna be fast. Okay. What happens if Angus goes and a rodeo labs guy goes, or Jim goes and a rodeo lab guy goes? Everyone covers it. So if Angus goes, one rodeo goes, both Corey and Jim jump on it. No, we're not gonna do the game of I got a teammate up there. It's either solo, or if you can't cover. And what will happen is it will just shell the back of the race. So eventually, if no one gets away, at least we're eliminating everyone out, punching them in the face, and then we're going to have that small group left in the end, which is what we want. But most likely, if we do this right, they either let one of you guys go eventually, or they go so much till Corey sees them messed up, and then he smashes it and goes. And then you guys sit behind them until they're dead, and then you guys go. And then there's none of them left. And they're probably in their hotel right now saying, wait for that climb. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you go on the first climb, they're going to be like, whoa, what the heck? Like, that's way too soon, And that's kind of what... Yeah. And then food, solid food, every hour on the hour. So from the gun, if you can get in 45 minutes, that's even better. But 45 minutes to an hour, 1 bar. So let's say it's a 5-hour race. I would bring minimum 5 bars. So like 3 and 2, or you could go 3 and 3, and then bring some gels just in case. But don't have the gels until you're clear here. Like if you start having gels in here, like it's not going to be pretty for the finish.
Bring extra because the road will be rough. Like
yeah,
if you around your pockets, you'll lose a bar. At
yeah,
some point in time.
yeah.
So don't bring the perfect amount. Bring more.
Air pressure, we'll work on that. I say 40 all day long. You guys can talk about it. Flavia, we think 35. And so what I want out of you guys is to put together like a badass performance. And I don't care if it's 1 hour long, if it's 2 hours long, if it's 25 minutes long, like I just want to see badass shit. So like if you're concerned that your badass shit might not make it to the end, I don't care. Like I just want some badass shit, right? So like the worst thing that could happen is no badass shit and a parade all the way to the finish line. So no parades, okay? So if you throw an attack and it doesn't work, I'm not going to be upset. But if no one throws an attack, so goal is to just get out there, hang loose, go crazy, do badass shit, try to pull this stuff off. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and we'll go back to the drawing board and look at it and say, why didn't it work? But if we don't try, we don't have any way to learn, right? If we just do a parade, we know the parade doesn't work, so boom, 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 right? And if your legs don't feel good, who cares, right? Doesn't matter how you feel. So if someone comes up to me and says, Tom, I don't feel good during the race, I don't care. After the race, and you say you don't feel good, I care. Let's go and look at it. But if you come to the start line and you start the race, from the point the race starts to the time the race finishes, do not ask yourself how you feel. And if you feel good, tell yourself to shut up. And if you feel bad, tell yourself to shut up and just do the job, right? Got that? So badass shit, doesn't matter how you feel. Go to the finish line, and then afterwards we'll talk about it. Cool. All right, ladies, way simpler strategy because of the dynamic of the race, right? Like you're starting with the men. You guys have massive resource here, right? Like massive resource. So we have to take advantage of the resource. The men are the resource. And also, like, they're really good. So I think that the best lady strategy is follow the guys and do the race with the guys. So doesn't matter what guy it is, whether if it's Angus or Corey or Jim or the dentist or whoever, you know what I mean? Like get in there and fight, follow the attacks, take pulls. Don't pull if like Angus is off the front. Lauren, don't come up and be like, ha ha ha, girls versus boys. Like Tom didn't mention in the meeting that I couldn't chase the guys down.
Oh no, you mentioned.
Yeah. So none of that. Teammates are still there, and then guys, if you see the girls, like help them with positioning too. But ideally what I'd like to see is you guys jump right in the race with the guys, like with your teammates, and ride with them. There's nothing wrong with Lauren on Corey's wheel or Flavia on Jim's wheel or vice versa, Andy on Angus's wheel or whatever. Like if you guys are in there, just wedge in there and follow them. You know what I mean? Like it's going to help you, and most likely no one's going to fight you off your wheel. You know, first of all, it's cool seeing a girl up there slicing and dicing, and second of all, you're wearing the same jersey. So people will give you respect, you know? So just get up there, and then you guys, like once the race blows apart, the theme is badass shit. So just like if you're, you know, in third place women, like that's still badass shit. So like say there's 5 guys ahead of you, try to catch the 5 guys. You know what I mean? Like get in there and mix it up with them. Like really cool result would be like the girls having like really fast times as long with the guys, you know, 15 minutes down, 10 minutes down, 20 minutes down, whatever it is. Like that, it happens, right? We saw with the Tibco girls in Steamboat. We see in Unbound, the girls are right there over that distance. So, and it is a good course for you guys. Lots of climbing. Like it's a great course for the girls. So get up there, be in the position. And if you guys find yourself together, ride together. But if you guys get split up, no stress. Like we're not going to worry about that. It's all about getting up there, doing a hard race, doing what? Badass shit.
Oh,
Or someone trying to quack you. What are you going to do?
Quack back.
Quack back.
Fuck yes. And how do you quack back?
Flip my elbows.
No, put your handlebars in front of theirs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
handlebars in front. So if some dingleberry's coming along, it's like, oh, this chick's trying to fight me for position, right? Stick your handlebars in front and move at them or whatever. And then guys, like you guys have their back. And if someone's trying to mess with the girls, like come in there and just be like, yo, bro, no chance. But yeah, cinch guys, like obviously like trust the girls. So don't like, you know, steamroll over them and say, oh, you're on my wheel. Like I need your wheel. Like,
Yeah.
and you guys are so strong too that it just relax,
But
right?
if you come to me and I know you're there, I'm gonna give that wheel to you. You don't need to fight me for that.
No.
But you know, if I'm there, just by happenstance, know that I'm not gonna let a gap open and make it harder for you guys.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying.
Like I just want to see badass shit.
So I will not go. Turn the lights off. Carry me home.